Our job as buyers and blenders is to make sure that the finished product, is the same quality time after time. I mean, we're tasting over 700 cups a day, so over 3,000 cups a week, every week of the year.
Tea blenders taste and mix different crops of tea to get the perfect blend. For example, Darjeeling is a combination of teas harvested at different times of the year.
The first flush teas are the first spring teas of the year, so they burst forth in the spring. We've got all this sort of power and sap and juice. They're quite strong, powerful, very flavoury teas. But to sort of counteract those, the second flush teas, which are then grown in sort of May, June time, those teas, whilst have full flavour, are much more mellow. You combine those two together and you get a really fantastic quality Darjeeling blend.
Some blends mix tea with other ingredients, such as Lady Grey, which is tea, orange peel and cornflowers. But fancy leaves aren't everybody's cup of tea, and at the beginning of the 20th century, tea drinking was revolutionised forever.
It all started in America at the beginning of the 20th century when a tea dealer by the name of Thomas Sullivan decided to send out samples to his regular customers. He tied the loose leaf into little silk pouches. So his customers misunderstood what they were supposed to do with these little pouches, and instead of opening them and tipping the leaf into the pot, they dunked the whole pouch into their teapots and found it a very, very convenient way of brewing tea. So they demanded more from him and said they really liked this idea of tea in a bag.
And thus, by accident, one of the greatest labour-saving devices ever was born. But it wasn't until the 50s that Tetley introduced it to Britain.
I think that, you know, the existing brands were a little bit shocked by the upstart Tetley and initially didn't respond. I mean, I don't think they thought it was going to be, you know, such a success.
But for those who found dunking a tea bag too much effort, technology had another solution.
Open the doors.
One of the most important times of the day when one really needs a cup of tea is as you wake up in the morning. And you can absolutely understand people who have or had a teas made by their bed.
A tea's made.
A tea's made is a device for making a cup of tea automatically at your bedside. So long as you fill the kettle with water the night before and switch it to auto, you'll be woken with the light, the buzzer. All you've got to do is pour it out. There is in this room now a model of every type of teas made from around 1945 to about 1990. They were initially, in the early 1950s, quite a middle-class item. When the average wage was only around about £10 or £12 a week, a tea's made cost £25. So you see, they were very prestigious items to have, but they didn't suit everybody's lifestyle. And although many people got them, frequently they were unused. This one here is my pride and joy. It's a 1961 D25B Queen Anne. To me, it's a thing of beauty.
But since those heady days of the 60s, the tea's made has fallen from grace, and brand managers had to think of new ways of making tea exciting.
One of the things about tea is once you've got the blend established, there's not a lot you can do with it, really. With tea, it's just tea is tea is tea. So the innovation that's happened in the tea market has tended to be in the way it's delivered, i.e. the tea bag.
And in 1989, Tetley came up trumps yet again with a new invention.
Who would have believed just by making the thing stamped out round rather than square would give you brand share points in the marketplace? Simply because the bag fitted so much more neatly into the bottom of a cup or mug or into the teapot. Simple as that.
Tetley's round tea bag made them market leaders, but PG weren't going to be outdone. They came up with the most technologically advanced tea bag the world has ever seen.
Total, it's probably hundreds of man-years of effort and tens of millions of pounds. So we looked at spheres, we looked at cubes, and we looked at lots of different shapes.
And what they came up with was a tea bag, shaped like a pyramid.
The principle behind the PG Pyramid tea bag is that it gives the tea room to move. It's basically like a little teapot. When I look at the PG Pyramid tea bag, I feel proud. It's the result of a huge team effort over many years.
Tea is a really intriguing ingredient because it has so many flavours locked within it. At 100 degrees, when it's put into water, we infuse that typical tea flavour that we all know so well. But if you take the temperature up, you unlock a whole bunch of new flavours. And we're going to take it to the extreme. We're going to use it to smoke some chicken. Now, the first thing we're going to do is just make a little marinade for the chicken pre-going into the wok. So, in a pestle and mortar, I'm going to grind up 2 ingredients. One, very well known, salt. The other one, possibly less well known, this is Szechuan pepper. It's really, really spicy. Right, chicken into bowl. Sprinkle a bit of this on top. There we go. Right, that's our chicken ready to smoke. In the wok, I've got a double layer of tin foil. And on top of the tin foil, normally we'd put wood chips, but in the place of wood chips, what we're actually going to use is some rice. And I'm going to mix with the rice a little bit of brown sugar, and that is going to burn and smoke inside the wok. And we're going to use the tea to flavour the smoke, which in turn will rise up and flavour the chicken. Now, as that heats up, we'll add the tea. Now, the tea I'm using is Lapsang Souchong, and the reason for that is because the leaves are dried over fires made of pine or cedar wood. So by using it in a dish like this, we're sort of recreating that already smoky flavour that's within the tea. Right, once that's getting hot, we can add the chicken to the bars. Just putting the lid on this now, which is creating a little mini oven. So it's not only going to infuse flavour into the chicken, but it's going to cook it right through.